guys, now only yesterday Eating Beer brought up a very good topic on his Facebook page about is 40k 8th edition getting more complicated with all those new stratagems that each specific codex is introducing. Now with that question I thought it might be a very good opportunity for me to make a Let's Sit a Talk episode 2 on my channel, and I would gladly answer that question. Now before we start, if you don't know who Idik Beer is, he's a fantastic YouTuber, he's a fantastic gamer, he makes a lot of different videos that stretch from battle reports, to tactics, to painting, and he has his own Facebook page, which will be the link will be in the description. You can follow that and be sure to hit him up on YouTube as well. Like his subscribe to him if you want and like his videos, because again he's a very fantastic guy. Now to answer his question, is 8th edition getting more complicated with the introduction of new stratagems? Yes and no, and let me explain why. Now when the 8th edition just dropped, we all know that the motive of Games Workshop was to make it more simpler than 7th edition was, and everyone was very excited about the new rules, about the new look of the game, and the game was fast-paced. But for me, when the indexes came out, all the armies were bland. I hated the indexes, I still do, and when the codexes just started to drop one by one, all those flavor of your army came back, but with the addition of stratagems. Now, some special rules from 7th edition that were included in the codexes are now implemented as stratagems, so you have to pay command points to use them. So some of the stratagems are very familiar to us players, and some of them are brand new, like the Drukhari stratagems that are shown. They're brand new, but I still don't think that they're making the game harder, because they're specific for that army and that army only. Now yes, you can say that you basically cannot memorize every single stratagem from all the codexes that are released thus far, and you're right, but at the same time you don't have to remember all of them. If you have a basic knowledge of how your opponent's army operates, you might know how to avoid some of the damage that will be coming to you. At the same time, I know how my opponent's Elder works, but then I got surprised by the Avatar stratagems that gave him wounds back if he died. And that was a surprise for me, but then again, that's a very good surprise, that's a narrative surprise. Is it making the game more complicated though? No. What makes the game complicated, in my point of view, is command points. And I don't mean the command points that are given to you by you filling up some detachment. No, but the implementation of new rules for giving codexes that on a roll of 6+, you get a command point back, which can be very irritating and slowing the game down a little bit. And I think that the first codex that brought that rule was in Astra Militarum, and when it was leaked in the internet, I actually liked that rule for Astra Militarum specifically, because it made sense for them to have that, because they're like basic soldiers with commanders that give them orders, and stealing orders and getting those orders back made sense. But now I'm seeing that implemented with the Drukhari army and other armies. I think Elder have them, Craft Wars Elder, and I think that's slowing the game down, and that gives you, and that's basically you're down to your dice rolls. And if you're getting those commands points back, it means that you're being able to use more stratagems on your opponent, which is very unfair in my point of view. If you had, let's say, a battalion detachment, and from that you have 5 command points, or ultra detachment, you have 3 command points. You have to you have to think in advance what stratagem you want to use and where you want to spend those command points. It gives the game a little bit of action in terms of you can screw up your opponent's plans by doing that, but at the same time you have to be careful because maybe you don't want to use all the command points at once, and then in late game you have none to spare when you need them. So you have to think carefully. But when you are rolling dice and you have very good dice rolls and you getting those command points back, that's when it's getting more complicated because more stratagems are being used, and that could be very irritating. Now, what I think also is making the 8th edition more complicated is battle rules. Not all of them, but some of them. And I'm not talking about battle rules like you cannot deep strike on turn 1 or the reserves battle rule. No, I don't remember the exact name of that rule, but it's when you cannot charge into the second floor of a building if you have no room to put your model on. So basically my opponent's unit is on the top floor of a building and all the second floor is occupied by his unit and there's no free space for me to put my model in. Then I cannot charge him. And the second rule is, let's say a Moloch cannot charge inside a building. Why? That's sort of the first one. Now, does it make sense for a unit not to be able to charge on the second floor if there's no room to put your model on? Yes, it does. It actually does make sense. But at the same time, again, it's slowing the game down. You can very easily just deny your opponent any opportunity to charge your unit that is in the building, maybe holding an objective or something. It can be easily denied. But you can argue that there's a area denial for a deep strike if your opponent or you yourself deploy your units correctly. But that's a different thing. You can still deep strike your army, your models, units, and they can still be very devastating for your opponent. While if you're just hiding a unit inside a building that potentially might not be even touched by shooting, that's where the problem lies, I think. And now with the monstrous creatures not being able to charge inside the building, but that's just very nonsense for me. Again, let's take Moloch. Why am I not being able to charge a unit that lies on the second floor? If the Moloch is higher than the second floor, it doesn't have to be on top of the building on the second floor. It can just grab, it's still higher, so he can still reach the models inside the building, and that's just, not only that brings down monster creatures a notch back, because you're like limiting them in a sense, but that's also again slowing the game down and bringing rules that in my mind, in my opinion, are similar to the rules of 7th edition, where the game was so complicated that a lot of players couldn't remember all the rules, that there was always a rulebook on the table, and even the rulebook couldn't help you at some times. And I think that the Games Workshop has to be a little bit more careful what they do at the moment, what rules do they introduce, how they change them, because the game, in my opinion, is balanced at the moment. Yes, we did get Psychic Focus to balance out Smite, which is a good thing. Did it balance it enough? Smite spam is still a thing. Yes, you roll a 5+, 6+, 7+, 8+, but you still can spam it. It's possible, and for some armies it's easier than the previous ones. Now, targeting characters just it clarified some things that was, for me, basically were obvious, but still they clarified some confusions between players, which is very nice. Then tactical reserves. I think tactical reserves weren't needed, but at the same time, I know where they were coming from, and that's I let's say it's a very good rule for the current state of the game. Now going back to Edic Beer's question, are stratagems complicating the current state of 8th edition? My answer is no. What complicates them are the rules that allow you to get a command point back by rolling a specific number on a dice, which is based on luck and can slow down the game and give your one of the players an unfair advantage in my opinion, and some new battle rules that can slow the game down and give a little bit of taste from 7th edition, which no one wants. Now I hope you like this video. I want to make more sit and chat type videos. This is the second one that I made thus far. I want to make one about fluffy games, tournaments, and special characters. Now, thanks for watching guys, I hope you enjoyed this one, and have a nice day.